Hello, welcome again to LITTalks. Very excited today to have with us Nir Goldberg, the one and only, the master, the awesome, the friend of mine, all the way from Israel. Has been living here for a few years, and as we said, this is LITTalks. We want this to be exciting and dynamic, especially because we live in LA. There are Jews from everywhere here. This is an amazing community that sees people from all over the world. We've had somebody from Germany, France, Americans, of course. We are in America after all. And now we are going to have somebody from Israel. His name is Nir Goldberg, and he really is something special. So let's call him in and we'll hear his amazing story. And he's going to speak to us and share with us some of his I think he's amazing and inspiring. So let's call him in. Nir Goldberg, welcome.
Shalom, shalom, Jake.
Hey.
How are you?
Shalom, achi.
Shalom.
How are you doing? So obviously the audience would prefer English, even though I would prefer Hebrew, adifli beivrit. But because people only understand English here, and that's mainly our language, believe it or not, we're going to speak in English. So, Nir,
yes, sir.
Why didn't you, first of all, tell us when you met us? I mean, we've been learning together for a while now. When did you actually meet us first?
I remember.
Do you know how long ago? How long did we know?
I think it was like a year ago, more or less.
Uh-huh.
We met in one of your you used to do on Tuesdays, gathering with a bunch of food, bunch of people.
Yes, it's called Taco Tuesdays.
Yeah, and
so how do you say tacos in Hebrew?
Tacos.
Tacos.
Yeah, tacos.
Okay, I guess.
Yeah. You can say lafa.
So, yeah, weird. Yeah, it is kind of a lafa. It's very similar.
A small lafa.
Yeah. Small lafa.
Yeah. So I remember,
it's nice and exciting.
Like a friend of mine told me about it. Like if I want to join, there is a gathering of Jewish people around, our ages, and if I want to go and check it out, and I went there, I was very overwhelmed in the beginning.
Wow, thank you.
Overwhelmed because it was really amazing to find in a completely strange, like a stranger place to me, like a new place all over across the globe from where I was born and raised, to see like a bunch of Jewish people hanging out, want to be close to Judaism, and it was amazing for me to be there, to experience that. I remember I was super overwhelmed in the beginning. It took me a while.
Yeah, it is inspiring. It's inspiring to see that even in a place like this, which is so far, people are involved and people want to be involved and they want to be connected and they want to grow. They want meaning and all the things that we teach as well, and family, which is a big part of Judaism and what we do. So I think it's been a beautiful thing, and we're inspired. Honestly, we came here and we got inspired by everybody because it's incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It really is.
Because, like I said, I grew up in Israel, and obviously this stuff doesn't happen in Israel. If you it's Israel, so everyone is Jewish, more or less.
And it's funny because you're like, this stuff doesn't happen. Excuse me, Israel, and it's true.
Yeah.
There's, it's hard. It's not so easy to find these tight-knit communities of young people that are coming from a background which doesn't know a lot or didn't grow up knowing a lot about their Jewish heritage, and then getting involved like that in their own little tight-knit community. There definitely is, and you should check out, anybody who's listening, there's an organization called Olami, which is part of what we do. And they have lots of Nefesh Yehudi is a big organization in Israel, which is under Olami, and they have organizations everywhere, all over Israel. So people do get involved there as well in similar style things, but it's definitely different. It's different. And I'd like you to expand on that. Why do you think? I know it's different and I tell people that. But what's special about here? Because you've told me, Nir, that you don't come from a background which grew up with a lot of Judaism. So what did you find inspiring that's different here than you have in Israel? I mean, Israel is where most Jews live. So what is it that's something different that you found here?
The thing is that in Israel, if you're Chiloni, a secular, so
Not religious.
not religious, so you're in this group of not religious people, okay? And if you are religious, so it depends which kind, because there is like bunch of groups that are religious, in Israel. So it depends which group you like your religion.
Well, there's Hasidic, there's Ashkenazic, there's Sephardic, Chabad, there's all types.
As long as you're one of these groups, okay, you don't have like a common enemy, not a common enemy, and here everyone, like as long as you're Jewish, you're a part of a group of being Jewish. In Israel, it's different. There is like bunch of Jewish groups, you can say, and here it's not.
They don't intertwine as much. You're saying
exactly. Everyone.
Do you know people growing up in Israel that didn't know anything Jewish? Like they don't know about what we do Jewish. Is there people like that in Israel?
No.
Everyone who's Jewish knows how to pray. They know how to read Shema. They say Shema. Everyone.
Yeah. And everyone celebrating the holidays, and it's a collective thing. The whole country, it's based on.
It's part of the culture.
Exactly. So even if you're not Jewish, there is a bunch of Christians and Muslims in Israel. Even like Russians that are Christians or whatever, and it doesn't matter. You live in a country when the government and everything.
The culture of the country is Jewish. That's what you say.
Hatarbut shel hamdina. Exactly.
Which is what you're saying.
Yeah, and what's special here that all the Jewish people, as long as you're Jewish, you're part of the community. It's that as a not religious person, I can explore different areas of the Judaism from a different perspective. I don't have to go to synagogue and pray, be a part of something like. So yeah,
this is like Hanukkah comes and it's just everywhere. Everyone's doing Hanukkah. Everyone's doing Jewish things because it's a Jewish place. So it's like.
Yeah, exactly. So it was very, very special to me. I remember.
I feel like I'm losing you. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, I can hear you well.
Okay.
I can see you well too.
Perfect. I like seeing you.
Good.
So here's the question. Okay, so we have, because this is something that I try and explain and give people a feel of, is that I'm the only person that's Israeli, that comes from Israeli background, that has told me this. There's a lot of Israelis that left Israel, and they got inspired by the community that's here. Our home, the Shabbat, really inspired. And not just that, but they actually feel like this urge to connect stronger when they are actually away from Israel than opposed to when they are in Israel. And I've seen this with many people. And what I believe is that it's more available to you in Israel. It's everywhere. It's more available to you. So things that are everywhere, one of the dangers of it is that you take it for granted. If you're in a place which has jewelry and has sand is jewelry. Will jewelry have the same value as it has here?
No,
No.
of course.
If something's everywhere, it doesn't really have much value anymore because it's just too much of it. There's a special word for it. Where, if somebody's wearing jewelry is nice. But if your whole jacket is filled with gold and diamonds and your ears are filled with gold and diamonds, you're going like this, and every finger's filled with golds and rings and diamonds, and everything's just covered with diamonds. That person loses
The
the
value,
touch.
yeah, the value of it.
Yeah, the value's lost.
Yeah.
And that's actually one of the big dangers that the Jewish people were always told that would happen when you go into the land of Israel. The Jewish people were always told that it's going to be so in front of you, so common to you. You'll say, "Oh, this is just how it is," but you take it for granted. You don't realize how important it is. Like what a world without it would really look like. We lived in Eugene, Oregon. Near the LA is a very big Jewish community.
Mhm.
If you ever went to Oregon, Eugene, Oregon is a place which, yes, you have Jewish students on the campus, but it's very, especially for the community, there's not much going on. There's really not much going on.
Mhm.
And I think that in a place like that, we saw Israelis as well coming to us and saying, wow, I really am inspired. I want to know what it is. So that's really the story of people that come here. Just 1 second. I'm going to change my microphone. Just 1 second.
Mhm.
Because I feel like it's not. I have another microphone here.
Yeah, the full production over there, huh?
Well, oops. I don't know.
I can hear you well, though.
Yeah, you hear me well?
Yeah, very well.
Apparently the sound sounds distorted, like changed a bit. No,
Not at
does
all.
it sound like a different? Okay.
I can hear.
Yeah, you can hear me well. Okay,
Mhm.
fine. So what were we saying? So yeah, so that's really how it is. So what I want to get to is your story. You're a professional breakdancer,
Yeah.
and where did you go with that? How did that start? You were breakdancing from a young age, and how did that really go around?
Yeah, actually, I didn't like sports, and I didn't connect it to sport in any way as a young kid,
Mhm.
But then I saw a show of breakdancers. It
Uh-huh.
was in a like it was a competition competition for movies
Mhm.
in where I used to grow up, like where I grew up, and I saw a show with like 5 people that are dancing, spinning on their heads, spinning on their backs, putting fires on their legs and arms, and just like spinning. And it was really amazing for me as I was like 13 years old, I
Wow.
think, or something. And I saw this, and something just clicked in my mind that I have to know how to do it. Like I have to learn how to spin like this. It's so amazing.
You liked it.
Yeah, because I couldn't even figure how a person can can spin on his legs with his spin on his back with his legs open, and continue spinning with fire in his legs. Like two strings of fire just like burning, and he's spinning all the way. And
Unbelievable.
it's something like the physics doesn't, I don't know how it works. So it was so challenging to see it. So I just wanted to do it. I like the challenge.
How many times did you practice until you actually learned how to do it?
Wow. So much. I remember I
Really?
practice all day, hours on top of hours, just to learn one move. And after I
Wow.
got this move, after I knew how to do it, it vanished. Like like you forgot how to do it. So you working hard for like 6 months, a year, to how to do like one move. And after you actually doing it, you forget it from some reason. I don't know why. And then you need to remember like your body and mind needs to work together. You can know it in your mind, but your body can't do it, and the vice versa. Your body knows how to do it, but your mind forget it, and you need always to combine these two when you're learning breakdance, basically. So it was a lot of, I remember.
So it's a lot of mental discipline, not just physical.
A lot of mental discipline. This is like the breakdancing was the first encounter with precision and working hard, and to still sustain this capability too. After I got it, I need to live it. Like I need to still like maintain it. So this was my first encounter in life of hard work pays off, and all of this, discipline and stuff. Because you see something that are very far from reality, that you see it, and you wouldn't like to spin on your head, for example. It sounds ridiculous to spin on your head.
Yeah, it is ridiculous.
Right? Without ends, no ends, just like spinning, just your head and you're spinning. So,
crazy.
Yeah, so you want to get there, and it's hard work to get there. But then you finally, after like 6 months, 3 months, you're getting this move complete, and you can do it, and you're like, oh wow, 6 months ago I was in a place when this was like sci-fi for me. So yeah,
it's amazing.
It's an amazing experience as a kid to learn this stuff. It's really, really, really good for a kid.
It's been a long day for me. So, the kids and running around and meeting people, obviously socially distanced. I was planning to upload and have this more organized, but I didn't manage to upload that video of you doing your breakdancing. So anyone who wants can search Nir Goldberg. He's also a professional filmographer, films weddings and bar mitzvahs, and anyone who might be interested, be in touch, because his video professional quality is outstanding. He's done many weddings and events here. Says shout out to you, Neil.
Thank you.
Anyone who's interested should definitely reach out and work with you, because I think your stuff is amazing, and you helped us. You helped us build a studio here in our office. So thank you for that. That was amazing.
Of course, anytime.
So I want to finish off with one last lesson, because I know that you always tell me, life is so interesting, and the journey that you went through in life, did you, by the way, for breakdancing, did you travel through Europe at all, or you
or you
had to go and train there or something? That's what you told me.
After I got to a certain level in breakdancing, I think it was like 17 or 18, so we used to go to Europe and compete with breakdancing. And I remember that the scene of people that are breakdancing around the world, it's very anti-Semitic. Really,
really,
yeah, very much.
Why?
I don't know why.
That's so strange. Why?
Very strange. Maybe because there is bunch of
Maybe it's
Muslims.
just Europe.
Yeah, maybe I don't know why. Because of the people that are arranging this stuff are really anti-Semitic. I remember it was a time when the some other b-boys, some other uh, people that are dancing didn't want to go on stage and compete with Jewish people just because we're from Israel. And this kind of
Mhm.
things happen all the time. It was really important for me and my crew to be on these stages and
Yeah.
compete, and not just people to know that we are Jewish and we are from Israel. Also to um, to market, to show even more that we are Jewish people. So every
Right.
time we went stage or every time we competed as solo and as a crew, we always wear tzitzit, and we always add like Hebrew sentences on shirts, and the Israeli flag on our back, always, always.
Wow.
And we always said Shema Israel before battles and stuff. So it was really, really,
Hmm.
really hardcore. I liked it. I remember.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you traveled a lot. Did you? I remember you telling me how there was a lot of challenges, and those challenges, and that's why we are making this. We're talking about the strength of resilience, finding strength through the challenges that come your way. Resilience means when something challenging comes your way, you suddenly get more strength, and the strength to overcome it. You get an adrenaline, a strength, the inner strength that says, okay, let's do it, let's do this. And I believe that it's the reason for resilience is the pain, is the challenge that we go through. So in life, we go through challenges, and that challenge in itself is what brings us to have strength in the first place. Without challenge, we wouldn't feel the need for strength. That's how strength works. In any way, you build muscles through, it's through tearing it. Anything in terms of growth needs a certain element of not pain, but effort, at least, to get there.
Yeah.
And, your story of traveling and then coming here and the challenges that you went through, you were telling me that was your message. That's your lesson that you believe you learned. So can you share with me more about that?
Of course. So as I said, like all my life journey since a young age, I remember myself
Mhm.
dealing with challenges because I wanted to be in a place where I never visited before, if it's spiritually or physically, to be there. So it started with breakdancing, okay, but
Mhm.
then I start learning film and camera and programs and
Okay.
editing and directing and writing scripts, and I learned it by myself as well. So I encounter different challenges, but I always had the thought in my head that I already have been through that in a different kind of platform in breakdancing. So it was
Mhm.
familiar feelings with the challenges.
Challenge. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when I came here at age 27, when I came here, so I felt this again, these challenges and a new place and everything, and it's
Mhm.
and in this point in my life, I already know that I need to go through some hard times and challenges to become a better
Mhm.
person, to be where I can't be right now. So I need to become a
Mhm.
person that I want to be in a place where I want to be in.
Right.
So it stuck with me. So this
Like to develop yourself into something,
exactly.
and that would.
I was always like scared a little bit, but always also enthusiastic about what I'm doing. So even in the hard times, of coming to a new place like this, for example, I always add uh, my belief that because of these challenges right now, I'm gonna be in a place that I needed to be. So basically, I need to become a different person. But this person I want to be, I can be there just if I overcome these things in my way.
Challenge.
Exactly. So
Hmm.
it's a really amazing feeling, to I
Hmm.
like challenges. I like when things doesn't go smooth as they are. So I'm an artist too, so I see myself um, in challenges, artistic challenges, where I need to step outside of the box, look around, and see how I can resolve the problem I'm in right now. So this is like my life, how I see life. That I always need to be in some place that I'm not comfortable at, because I'm learning more.
Yeah.
I'm becoming wherever I want to be. When I'm gonna be like the top of what I can be, maybe then I'll relax a little bit. But for now, I know I need to work hard. I need to be in these times, and I'm thanking God that I can be and do this stuff and still be strong. Mentally, physically. This is what I'm saying every day. I'm saying like thanks to Bore Olam about the opportunity that he gives me to be and to do this stuff, basically.
Hmm.
To,
Yeah, I mean, to have strength, not everyone has that energy in them, which is the energy of just pushing and pushing and dealing with life on your own and managing and surviving. And that's what you do.
Mhm.
And it's beautiful. And, that's what we want to do, that as a people, uh, we want to overcome challenges that come our way. We don't pray for them to come our way. We don't look for them. But if they do come away, we use them as stepping stones for growth. These are platforms for us to get stronger and become better and become more at peace with who we are. I think one of the ways of challenges is when things don't go the way you plan. You have a certain direction that you want life to go in, and then it doesn't go that way. That's one of the big challenges of life, is when plans don't go the way I want them to.
Whatever,
And
99% of the times.
right, right, that's most of the time.
Yeah.
And one of the ways of dealing with that is obviously emunah, of faith, and overcoming that with faith, which is to relax and know that as long as it's not in my control, I don't need to worry about it. And that's really the idea of life. That's the idea of our people. One thing that we do know is when we get complacent, that's when the challenge really gets strong. We spoke about this the other day, how the the challenge of success is much more than the challenge of the needy. Believe it or not, to need something means that you're ambitious. To be successful actually means that you're more relaxed and less ambitious.
Okay.
If you're happy, you'll still be ambitious. But if you're successful, not necessarily. It might be a moment where you're actually say to yourself, okay, now what was the point of all of this anyway? So, like in as a people, we learn that as well. When we came into the land of Israel, we were told, be careful, because you'll get comfortable there. And you'll say, oh, I'm the one who made all of this. This is all me. It's my land. It's my place. Um, it's my success. I did it. In Hebrew, it's called kochi ve'otzem yadi, asai techay lazeh. My strength and my hand did all of this. That's the language we use. And it's a language which says, yeah, I did this, I did this. It's a language of someone who's successful and has it all fed. A kid that has everything is an unhappy child.
Yep.
You can't give a child everything without the child having to earn it. because then they feel they're entitled. They feel that they should, whenever something doesn't go their way, because life won't always go the way you want it, then they're facing their challenge again and they don't know how to deal with it, you know?
Mhm.
So a child is a perfect example. The way we educate a child can't have everything, and so can an adult not have everything. And if we live in an environment with everything fed to us and comfortable and successful, then we start getting depression. And honestly, that's what we see. You know, we're in LA, and it's a great city, but there's a lot of successful people, and successful maybe financially, but not necessarily mentally.
Mhm.
And that means that they've earned everything somehow. A lot of people, not everyone, there's a lot of people that have been spoon-fed their success. The minute something doesn't go their way, somebody's out there to help them immediately. And I think it's really, really important to, if if I do have the success and I do have the money and the which is a good thing in Judaism, it's not a problem, but don't let your child fall into that trap of just being spoon-fed everything. He has to work and earn for it in order to appreciate the challenges of life. If you remove from somebody all of his challenges, then when he faces real challenges, he won't know what to do.
Mhm.
A child that for 20 years was constantly fed and given no challenge, even when he's doing his homework, his parents immediately help him and give him the answers. Everything in all areas, there's no challenges. Suddenly, when life really challenges you, you face something that goes wrong, you just won't know how to deal with it.
Mhm.
So it's the people that went through challenges in the past that overcame them. They built a certain muscle that can now deal with the future challenges in a much better way than others. And I think that that's something that I've seen in the Israeli community in Israel. That in some ways, spiritually, they're very complacent. There's a lot more to do, but there's a lot of Jewishness out there. So you're like, it's everywhere. I'm rich in my Jewishness. What do we need it for anyway?
Exactly.
But then you leave, and then you realize, wow, I actually did need that. I forgot. I missed the Yom Kippur even. I miss Rosh Hashanah. I miss Shabbat. I miss everything.
Very right.
So that happens. And then what also happens, I think, is physically, in Israel, physically, it's a bit harder. There's a war. It's uncomfortable. There's a lot of challenges. Financially, it's a country that's only, today it's doing a lot better, but it's a country that's only 70 years old, and it is, most people there are struggling financially in terms of the ichut chaim, the quality of life is definitely more challenging there physically. So here's the exact opposite. Here's a world where, being the spirituality, so to speak, isn't so strong unless you actually go out there and find your community. It's not so strong. It's not a culture as it is in Israel.
Exactly.
So spirituality is not so strong, and physicality is strong. It's like, as soon as you need something, you order it off Amazon. Does anyone know, anyone of the listeners in Israel, there's no Amazon, right? I don't think is there still an Amazon in Israel?
There is, but no one uses it. Just more eBay or AliExpress to order stuff.
AliExpress.
Yeah.
See, they're getting up there. But there's, Amazon has something. I don't know what it is. But you just order on your phone, boom, and it's there next, within the day. It's a very, we have become a very comfortable generation in ways that we've never been throughout history. I think now more than ever. Even somebody who doesn't have that much money, there's still like a certain element of comfort that we've never had. Hot water and food and unlimited amounts. So, it's interesting how the exact opposite is happening here. And it's a world where the physicality is so much of it. And then what happens is that you get so comfortable in this, abundance that we have, you start complaining about nothing. You start complaining about nothing.
Yeah.
You start thinking that the good is bad and bad is good. You get completely confused,
Yeah.
and that's what we've seen. And then when you go to Israel, you see, people are, they don't understand the importance of a Jewish community and the Shabbat and all of that stuff, and they think, oh, it's everywhere. Why do we need this anyway? It's annoying. And then you come here and you realize how important it really is. So
Yeah.
things that you have a lot of is things that you take for granted and you can't, because you've got to imagine yourself in a world without it. And sometimes it takes a person like Nir to leave Israel and travel the world and come eventually to LA. Yeah. And what were you going to say, Nir? You wanted to
For
say
me,
something?
like
I'm taking the show here.
for an Israeli guy to come here
Uh-huh.
at 27, as a not religious person too. So the first thing I remember it's I'm walking down the street, and me, I don't look like the typical Israeli. I don't have like I'm not brown, and I'm pretty white.
Yeah.
My eyes are green, so I look more like a typical American. Okay, so
Uh-huh.
and I start like talking to the people around me here, and the first thing I notice is that maybe I look like them and everything, but I don't. I have something inside of me that is very, very different from them. Okay, I can look like them, I can walk on the street and people think I'm American, but something inside me is so different, and I could never see it in Israel, because in Israel everyone are the same, everyone are lions. Okay, everyone are the same in some degree or another, but here there is like more of the people are not like you. And I'm walking down the street, and I remember I had this feeling inside of me that I'm like, I'm not thinking like them. I'm so different. Why is it that I'm so different from them? And they look like me. Everything is cool. Everything is regular. And this is was um, my first enlightenment of, wow, I'm Jewish. Like, I'm Jewish Israeli person. This is why I feel this way. This is why. So it this was my first thought in my head that, okay, I want to go. I want to come closer to Judaism, because this is amazing. Okay, what I'm feeling inside, it's amazing, but I could never see it. If I would stay in Israel, I would never even know that there is
And
something
you have this.
inside of me. Uh,
Wow.
so this is why my first thing that I felt. This is why I wanted to come closer to Judaism. And in Israel, I didn't. It wasn't like my concern at all. But here, yeah, this is what happened to me in the first days. And for me, like, I come here for and the first year or two were really hard for me. In a new place, no family, no community, nothing. So it was hard for me. But
I can't imagine. Yeah.
yeah, so I fueled myself with motivation and inspiration, and I fueled myself with books on mental health and mental success and subconsciousness, and motivational speakers and people that are very successful in their lives. So I learned a lot about them and everything, and I fueled myself with this. It was my motivation. But after a while,
Mhm.
uh, I started to see some lectures of different rabbis from Israel.
Mhm.
Just like scrolling on YouTube, I found like this guy, this rabbi, Arav Yitzhak Fanger. So I saw one
Yeah,
of
he's
his
amazing.
talk, okay, and and I immediately saw and hear that this guy is talking the same things that I'm fueling myself with motivation and inspiration from all these books and all these successful people in the world, but is giving the same not the same, but
idea.
similar. Um, um,
Message.
yeah, similar information how to deal with a situation that I'm encounter with, but from our Torah, from our Bible. This is mine. This is the most powerful thing in the world, and he's speaking the stuff that I needed to hear and to give me strength.
3,000 years.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I'm hearing, okay, the most successful person in the world, and Arav Yitzhak Fanger, they're speaking the same thing, just Arav Yitzhak Fanger touches my heart more hard and more good than any of these people that I hear talking. So I
Mhm.
closer to it, and I took myself like all the way to this direction. I can tell you today, this is all I do. I learn everything about life, if it's struggles, if it's relationships with people, and to find like a wife or whatever. Everything in life, I'm hearing all the information from lectures, from our Torah, from our Bible. Everything, all the skills you need to live a better life and to get whatever goal you're gonna put yourself, everything is there. It's so amazing, the power of it, that I felt I never was close to this. To feel this power, it's something that you can never speak words. You can
Mhm.
never say it in words. It's something, it's crazy. It's crazy. And after you start
That's amazing.
practicing it a little bit and you start talking to Borei Olam, wow, it's amazing. I can't even explain. It's overwhelming. Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's a feeling of purpose, submission, letting go of things you can't control.
It's
There's so much good. Everything's a miracle
Yeah.
in the world of Hashem. It's you walk around, you see this everything as in a different light. It's really amazing.
Yeah.
And I've enjoyed learning with you recently. That's been very special.
Wow. Yeah.
And almost every day we're in touch and we have something to learn about. So that's really special.
Mhm.
And we're proud of you. It's amazing what you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate you for you telling me stuff sometimes that are like, whoop, this I needed to hear this thing right now, and it's amazing how this thing clicks every time.
Mhm.
It's amazing. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. העיקר שאנחנו נהנים בעברית לדבר.
כן,
בשבילי זה הדבר הראשון.
אני,
For me, the joy is, it reminds me of Israel when we study together, how I can go through so much more text because it's your language.
right.
One of the reasons that it's so important to know Hebrew so that you can open a whole library of books. There's a whole library of books that people don't know about because they don't speak the language. And it's stuff that's, Torah. It's Jewish teachings, and it's so powerful. And when we sit together, I feel like, wow, I can speak, I can speak that language that I used to learn in for years. So
Okay.
it's really, we speak together in Hebrew.
Very powerful language. Like
It is.
3 words from somewhere can change your life. That's amazing. That's crazy.
Yeah. Like I always say, להיות בשמחה זה מחשבה.
Right.
The same letters. בשמחה is the same letters as מחשבה, a thought. Happiness and thought intertwine. Isn't that beautiful?
It's amazing. Never thought about it.
Yeah. Well, we're taught that. I think it's the Arizal who says that, or someone says that besimcha is machshava. To be happy is to think right. That's what makes a person happy. It's not a world of if I have this, or if I'm there, if I'm gonna be somewhere else in another country, then I'll be happy. It's a thought. And a lot of what you were talking about today was how your mental state can change your physical state,
Mhm.
like spinning on your head. which is incredible. I've seen some of your videos; they're incredible. To spin on your own head is insane.
Yeah,
It's insane.
yeah. Great.
I don't know. When I'm upside down, I can't think. Like I'm just going to land back in my head. I don't get it. How can you be upside down and control?
Yeah,
The
after
definition of being upside down is having no control.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but it's amazing that you get control to be upside down and to spin, and you're still in control and in very spiritual calm, like spiritual relaxation. This is like the highest form of relaxation, actually. When I'm breakdancing, still to this day, even I'm not doing this professionally for the last 7 or 8 years, but still, when I'm dancing, this feeling of connection to your spirituality, it's something that you can
Can you see the picture there?
yeah.
Here's you. I managed to upload this picture that you sent me just now. But that's amazing. This is on your Instagram?
Yeah, I told you this story about the building in the back.
No.
The building in the back, it's in Germany.
Uh-huh.
This is where in World War II, all the higher command of the
Meetings.
Nazis, they met there. The Veidat Vanza, how do you say Veida?
The Congress, maybe, or the conference.
Yeah, conference, Vanze conference. I don't know if you heard about it. It was a meeting.
I
All the
think
Iranians,
so.
all the
The
Iranians.
Vanzi conference. Yeah.
Yeah,
The one, not Vanzi, Wanzi, the Wanzi conference.
yeah,
That's
Vanze.
when,
Yeah,
they made that decision to send everybody to the death camps to use the gas and everything. That was on the 9th of Av. It was in that conference was on 20th. Yeah, apparently it was on the 9th of Av, as far as I remember.
Oh,
Very interesting. Maybe not the actual. Was that a one-time conference? They did a one-time conference,
one-time conference.
and they did the meeting in this building. What was that building originally? Before that, just
Was a
government.
house of a Jewish person that they took.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow, that's terrible.
bro. This is
No, so it
amazing.
wasn't the one. No, the Wannsee conference was. I see now it's on 20th of January 1942. It couldn't have been on 9th of Av, but there was a decision that was made during the Holocaust to make the final solution, and it was also a meeting that they had, and that happened to be on 9th of Av. If anyone here who's listening knows, then send us if you know the information of when that was, what conference that was. But anyway, we shouldn't know about those things. So go on. So you were outside the Wannsee conference, and then you did this stunt.
Nowadays,
So what's the message?
So yeah, nowadays it's a museum. So you go inside, and if you're a Jewish person, you pay even less than regular person. It's funny, like the irony about it. And it's a
Really?
museum. Yeah. And
You officially pay less by saying I'm Jewish. They ask you, wait a second, do you have a sign or something? Or if you look Jewish, you get it.
They just ask us. I was there with all my family. They just ask us.
Are you Jewish? And they're like, yes. And then they said,
I don't know how it worked exactly. I don't remember, but I remember that we paid less than like a local.
That's crazy. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That is hilarious.
Yeah. It's a beautiful place. You see a beautiful place, and everything is so calm, everything, bunch of nature around you, and to understand that these people made the most horrible decision, one of the most horrible decision of mankind history in this building. It's really crazy, and it was really important to me to make a stand, you can say. So I said to my sister, "Take this camera. I want you to shoot myself. I want you to shoot me a picture when I'm standing on one arm, very hard and straight in this on the background of this horrible place, just to make a statement. It's not that we are coming back here and learning. I'm also coming back here and I'm super strong.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not just coming here. I'm
amazing.
strong. I'm standing here hard and strong.
Uh-huh.
And
I think it's powerful. Yeah, it's
it
like a
was,
statement. Look, we're here dancing, and it's
yeah,
a dance. Dance, and it's like I'm relaxed here in my dance, laughing in the face
exactly.
of these people who made the most terrible decision. Um, not so long ago. Can you imagine if they would have known that not only their plans would fail, but there's going to be Jews dancing professionally outside of my building? I think that's brilliant. It's a brilliant message. I think that's beautiful. Well,
Yeah.
the truth is we can dance in the face of evil, because at the end of the day, the message that we stand for will always last and will always be here. We've always been here, and evil does eventually fall apart, and it doesn't last. It doesn't have a ground to it. It's something which doesn't last long, and we've seen it throughout history. They've all tried, and they all failed.
Mm-hmm.
They succeed momentarily, that's for sure. For a short time, they succeed, but then they all fail at the end of the day. Anyway, Nir, okay,
so you say there is
it was
more.
nice. Oh, go on.
So you say there is more good in the world than bad in every given time.
Not only there's more good, the greatest proof. I was actually just this week. We spoke about it. The biggest proof that there's more good than bad in the world. It might seem that there's more bad because we look at it more, but that's the biggest proof that there's more good. The fact that bad news is newsworthy, the fact that bad things is something that goes on the news, means that I want good in this world. And when I see bad on the news, it's like, oh, why is this happening? What does that mean? What does it mean? Why is this happening? I want good. That's what it means. Deep down, I want good. And every time bad happens, I point at it because I don't want to see it, because in my own deep reality, bad is something that shouldn't exist, and I want only good. So you tell me deep down in us what's stronger, good or bad? The answer is good. And the truth is, bad and good always, at the end of the day, bring good to the world. That's what Rabbi Dessler said. I spoke about this just this week. Bad and good always brings good at the end of the day, because bad people face justice. They eventually disappear. Good prevails and continues to exist. And Hashem always, no matter what we do, we're going to bring light to the world. Even if somebody does bad, through the justice that will happen to them, through the judgment that will happen to them, good will be stronger, and the light of good will prevail and win over bad. So no matter what we do, we're always bringing that light of Hashem into the world. And that's what he says. We're here in this world to choose good, but even if we choose bad, the message of good will come out from it. So it's a very interesting idea that it's something, it's a whole class. You should go on our YouTube lecture that I gave just yesterday, and it's on there. I just uploaded it today. And it's an amazing talk based on the Michtav Meliyahu by Eliyahu Dessler. It's an amazing idea. But that's basically and a great night. It was good talking.
Yes.
Hopefully some people listened.
Thank you very much.
And it was nice. So, Hatzlacha, Ohavim otcha.
Thank you. אוהב אתכם בחזרה, המון המון. Thank you for everything.
Amon. You're amazing. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining, and thank you for being here. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.